as Light continues to do the research into that, we are going to be loading into 2,000 atmospheres. LE, we're in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the green Protoss player coming out from the land of Pakistan. He is, of course, going to be representing, if nothing has changed, I believe still Drunken Outlaws. Going off of memory here. He is the brother of Raza, ZAiN.
And spawning in at the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, LE, we have the Aussie Terran player, the young boy himself. He is red, representing Opus V. It is Piglet. I was just checking that apparently Optus is no longer a customer of Telstra's fiber optic lines, or I say fiber optic, their infrastructure, which is what used to be the case before.
A bit of a stretch in Australia, I guess.
Well, we do have fiber. What
fiber.
Yeah,
what?
We do. What are you on about?
I was making a meme.
Because,
Steel was telling me that Australia and Israel internet is comparable.
Steel says a lot of things. I think maybe like 30% is what you want to listen to. If that, I feel like that's generous, but all right. Oh boy. All right, here we go. This is what we have all been waiting for. Oh.
Wait, so it's owned by Singtel then?
I guess so. Yeah.
Question mark?
Maybe.
Huh.
I haven't looked
or
into
has it gone completely indie?
What?
The Optus company.
What?
You were talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Meanwhile,
you were looking into it.
Yeah, and I stopped.
Right,
because we are in this series, and I'm excited, man. Like, Piglet, again, he was able to take down Probe, he was able to take down Pez, he was able to take down arguably some of the best, if not the best Protoss in all of ANZ. But what about ZAiN, mate?
That's what we're about to find out, and this is an opening that's very common. Stargate from ZAiN, but because we have been covering DreamHack, the Chinese and the Taiwan, Hong Kong regions in the past couple of days, past couple of evenings, where in PvTs they do nothing but Twilight Council, and it feels like such a breath of fresh air.
Mate, you say that. I've been the one that's been casting like 2 qualifiers a day every day for the past week. This is the first time I'm seeing a Stargate opener in PvT. Yeah,
there we go.
So this whole week, man, oh my god, I'm so happy.
Stargate openings in PvT are common, technically, right?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Mate,
we just haven't seen it.
I have seen more Robo Disruptor drop openings in PvT this week. Like, at least like 5 times already. Jesus Christ. 3 this morning. Meanwhile, we do see Piglet going in with his Hellion.
Yeah, thank you, ZAiN, for being normal.
Or for reminding us that, there is more to, or there can be more to this matchup. We do see Adept slip into... Yeah, it does slip into the main base, does get confirmation of the 1-1-1 opener. Meanwhile, Piglet was able to scout that Stargate with his Hellion.
Mm-hmm. Going for a little bit of mind drop, but not something too committed, mostly just as a bit of a follow-up scout.
Yeah, that he is not, not going for that mind drop.
Yeah, he's actually using his mines more defensively. I like it.
Yeah, being very defensive. And I mean, it makes sense because he scouted the opener, so because of that, he wants to be ready for whether the Oracles come out or the Phoenixes into his mineral lines. So again, taking this very seriously, not just with the Widow Mines, but also Viking, Cyclone, everything here shoots up.
Even the Raven can throw out an auto turret.
That it can. Meanwhile, the other interesting thing that happened is that after this Stargate, we did see a Robo thrown down, which to me was very interesting to say the least. And we see why ZAiN, he is cutting corners, cutting the Twilight Council, Forge, additional gateways for the Robotics Bay.
I feel like I'm getting a lot of deja vu here, Light. Piglet versus Phoenix Colossus. Or, I actually have to wonder how effective Phoenix Disruptor can be in a PvT. It's probably not going to be as reliable as Colossus, but, you know, sometimes it only takes one Purification Nova.
Yeah, sometimes it does. I'm sure there's a place for it, to be fair. We'll see what ZAiN decides to go for. You know, there's value to be had in both compositions, but I imagine, there we go. I imagine it is going to be the Colossus.
Yeah.
And this is scattered.
A much safer pick. Opening does get sec out here from Piglet, and now the onus is 100% on him. Try to prevent ZAiN from getting out of control, but speaking of that, ZAiN dips in with his Phoenixes, takes a little bit of a hit from that Widow Mine, but every single Phoenix is still alive, and he gets 3 SCVs. Well worth it here.
Definitely, especially because the Phoenixes were able to survive, but he has to be careful. They are weakened from that Widow Mine shot earlier, so you have to tread lightly around these bases, as a couple more missile darts are being thrown down. One in the natural, none in the main. Again, Piglet being a little bit greedy.
Yeah, diving right on top of this Viking, and top of this Cyclone as well, but he runs out of energy. That or a Phoenix got sniped. Didn't quite catch what happened over there.
Oh, he picked up the Cyclone to disable the lock-on.
Oh, okay.
Dropped it. Yeah,
he canceled it immediately after that. Yeah. Gotcha.
You got it. Oh god!
Yeah,
Oh no!
well, you got it.
Oh god!
And then you told me, very risky maneuver here from ZAiN, trying to snipe that Raven, but he tried to do so above every single Marine that Piglet had. He has completely lost his Phoenix count, and at this point, you have to wonder, will that really matter too much? You could argue that freeing up the supply by losing those Phoenixes may be more advantageous, since Piglet is going for more of a bio-mine style than bio-tank. But is it really?
Not at all, mate. Especially because he didn't get the Raven, and now the Raven has enough energy for a disable. There's not a lot here to defend. The Twilight Council upgrades are still on the way. No charge available whatsoever, so this engagement is going to be huge for Piglet.
Look at that. 73 army supply versus 47.
Yeah.
But Piglet, he's being as cautious as ever. There is a bit of an opportunity for him to pounce on top of this, but made with 2 shield batteries, with the battery overcharge, he doesn't want to take unnecessary risks. He rotates around.
He does.
Tries to see if he can get the army out of position.
Well, the problem is that the rotate, it gets scouted by the Phoenix, so now ZAiN is completely aware. Also, that Raven is so low. One more shot and it will go down. A couple of these Widow Mine shots are going to be baited, but Piglet, is he going to try and fight this? There are no shield batteries to support this army, but he doesn't want it to back off.
Yeah, he's got 2 disables on him, but yeah. Pushed out. Didn't really get any damage, but also didn't take any damage in a push. Goes back home, gets ready for round 2, which I kind of feel like Piglet missed his chance to really put the hurt on ZAiN there, but we'll see.
I agree. I feel like he missed a chance, right? I don't know if it was the chance, but he missed a chance there, where he had the supply lead, where it was hitting before the upgrades, +1 and charge finish. You know, there wasn't a lot here. I guess he was really giving a lot of respect to the shield batteries and overcharge as well, right?
Yeah, which personally I can't blame him for.
Yeah,
the Terran player, but yeah, there are, as much as it does feel like Piglet missed a chance, he is one of the very few Terran players who is willing to take it to the late game against Protoss.
True.
Specifically, I remember his series against Starduck, where he was more than willing to face Stargate, like Skytoss, with Bio, and he actually won that game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did that against all of them. He did that against Starduck, he did that against Probe, he did that against Pez, especially in Season 1 of ANZ Champs. We'll see how he does here against ZAiN, as he does spot the army, he is getting in position. And thankfully, because he avoided previous engagements, like, his army supply is still looking relatively good right now. He did repair the Raven as well behind this.
Yeah, so he still has those 2 disables, or even a disable and a anti-armor missile if he so chooses. I actually wouldn't mind an anti-armor missile getting right on top of that hard-hit army. Piglet is setting up for a complete flank as well.
Oh, that he is. Oh my god, it's now or never. Juicy anti-armor missile there, but Piglet is not pulling the trigger. He's not going for it. Oh.
I thought for sure he was going to rotate around, but Yeah, I guess he just doesn't like his chances against 4 Colossus and that many chargelets. That
Hey,
anti-armor missile completely wearing off.
I just have to wonder, what is it going to take for Piglet to fight? Because he just keeps
He's a
avoiding,
pacifist.
he just keeps avoiding the engagements. Like, he's terrified of the Protoss. See, despite, certain scenarios where there are some good opportunities, we do see a forced recall. Ooh, a lot of the gateway units are left behind, so they will get picked off here.
Well, you actually mentioned what is it going to take for Piglet to make an engagement, but thinking back to his TBZs, he is generally more of the defensive player. He prefers his opponents to move into him. He's really hoping that ZAiN will make one false move and then Piglet will collapse on top of him. And honestly, ZAiN has made a couple of them. Piglet just hasn't taken advantage of them.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have a bit of a Zelrun by 7 SCVs go down, but the army is still looking quite strong here across the map. He has recouped that energy on the Raven, has plenty of it to work with, and he bought enough time for Ghost to come out for those EMPs.
Which will come into play very, very well, especially against these sentries and these Archons. Well, I say they're going to come into play, but Piglet is already winning this engagement. The Purification Nova doesn't quite land. The Vikings completely wreaking havoc on top of these Colossus, as well as all of those, as well as that War Prism from earlier on. I feel like this is just about it. Piglet, he just needs to continue reinforcing.
Yeah, exactly. He has to be careful because there's one more Disruptor coming out, 2 more Disruptors. The Novas come out and they do connect with some of the Marauders. The Vikings are forced to land here as there are no more Colossus in the sky. Is this going to be enough to break the Protoss? Oh no!
Maybe. There are a lot of Stalkers here. Oh, the blink. Sniping the medevac that still had units in it.
And just like that. Yeah?
Yeah, things are basically evening out.
Well, I was about to say that just like that, Piglet took a beautiful engagement there. He reset the robotics units. He fought beautifully. He expanded behind this. But as you said, ZAiN was able to hold on, and there wasn't really much economic damage done. Ooh.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, one of the scariest units, the scariest unit is a Chargelet.
That it is. We still do have 2 Disruptors. Ooh, one of the EMPs does whiff, but both Novas miss completely.
Ooh.
Oh.
I see them over there. DTs coming into play.
The DTs are coming in. The Planetary is on the way, though. We need a response here from the army, but it's pulling Piglet out of position. Uh-oh.
And Piglet just doesn't have the supply to really split his army effectively. Purification Novas actually completely going past. That feels like it was because of ping, honestly.
It's possible. It also
split-second change.
It also kind of looked like he wasn't looking there at the moment, as there was something happening here on the right-hand side. Instead, in the end, the Planetary went down. 18 SCVs went down. Ooh, but a Widowmine shot went off on that War Prism. So ZAiN lost his army, but Piglet did lose a chunk of his economy.
What is gonna... We'll see which is more... My words are not coming out here. Right? We'll see which is worse. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we'll
see. Because Piglet
still
has a very effective army that he can get something done with.
I mean, mate, it's
despite being much lower in the economy.
It's going to be all about the ghosts. It's going to be all about the EMPs and sniping, avoiding those purification overs. It's still going to be very close here. A lot of micro is going to be forced in these engagements. Meanwhile, oh god, that's a lot of DTs. That's a lot of DTs. Oh god.
Really is. This one ghost that can EMP all of them and undo the cloak for a while.
That he could. We do see a scan. DTs are revealed, but so is the rest of the army. Oh boy, Piglet waiting for the opportunity to strike.
As always. This is giving ZAiN a little bit of time to get a couple more warp-ins. But it's also giving Piglet an insane amount of time to get the rest of his ghosts in position. Decent EMPs. Has to be careful about the Purification Novas. Doesn't really have anything that can really punish the Disruptors right now. They don't really expose themselves. Ooh. Now they do. do.
That they do, and Maze, there was only one half-decent Nova in the middle of all that, and it connected with Marines and Marauders, not with the Ghosts, and now Piglet has so much momentum. This base will fall with one more shot, puppy, one more!
Nexus alive. That's even worse than having that base fall, honestly.
Oh my god, you know why? Because he wants the kill, he wants the army, he snipes every single disruptor before any Nova goes off.
Completely avoiding his own medevacs or his ghosts with that EMP. And he still is able to uncloak those ZTs. These ZTs are the absolute MVP right now for ZAiN.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Oh my god, DT's being so annoying right now as they do. Oh my god, he's it took three.
So many EMPs out, actually.
Exactly, 4 EMPs for a single DT. More DTs are coming out here. Aye, aye, aye. He misses again. Oh, there we go. Oh god.
That's so many ghosts at this point, but they've all used up their energy. ZAiN can still warp in 1 or 2 more DTs, but yeah, he's got a mineral bank and not a lot of gas, so he may as well get Zealots in instead. There are some ghosts coming though. GG is called. Piglet takes game number 1. It definitely feels like it didn't need to go for 16 minutes, but in the end it worked out for him. He knew what he was doing, I suppose.
GG, well played. Piglet was so patient there. You could argue, again, maybe some missed opportunities, but really he was just saving everything up for the later stages of that game, and it really worked out there. Like, he just kind of, again, had his way with ZAiN a little bit. It felt like, especially in the, like, after a certain point, every single fight went in favor of Piglet.
Yeah, CBD is mentioning here in the chat. Piglet is typically just very cautious when it comes to TVP, and we were able to see that caution pay off for him until he was basically maxed out before he pushed across the map. Those getting a healthy Viking count really just shut down those Colossus by the time he did push. Piglet won. I want to say he won a couple of times before he really took the map, but at the same time, there was always an opportunity for ZAiN to pull something off with a battery overcharge, with defensive DTs, and Piglet really just wanted to make sure he covered every base, really make sure that ZAiN could not come back once he really decided to pull the trigger.
Oh boy, exactly. That was beautifully done there by Piglet, and we'll see if he can keep it up in this series.
That we shall.
As I'm just letting the admin know, the other admin actually. I was just messaged by ZH, who admins the DreamHack China qualifiers. He's like, yo, are you covering today? And it's like, kind of in a different qualifier at the moment.
Yeah.
Boy.
Maybe.
Maybe.
TM.
Oh boy.
We shall see.
Meanwhile, mate, we have we have some updates in the bracket. Very bittersweet there.
Man.
Unfortunately, these series were not broadcasted, but Risky did 2-0 Pez to move on to a qualifying match, and Quantel took down Oreo 2-1 as well.
Yeah, that qualifying match is going to be Risky versus Quantel, which it is kind of bittersweet, as he was saying. Quantel, basically the only big Indonesian player. Personally, I really enjoy seeing some of that Indonesian representation.
Yeah.
Homeland of my grandparents, but at the same time, taking out Oreo to get there.
Yeah, Quantel just seems to be the kryptonite to Oreo, because this is not the first. Yeah, this is not the first time Quantel has beaten Oreo in these qualifiers. Like, oh god, I recall it happening before in the past. Feels bad, man. But of course, we do have a series before us, and this is where our attention lies.
That it is. Over here on Lightshade LE, where we're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the green Protoss player coming out from the land of Pakistan. He is going to be representing Drunken Outlaws. We did get confirmation on that. He is the brother of Raza, ZAiN.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Australian Terran player representing Team Opus V. It is Piglet.
I gotta be honest, Light. I was fully expecting one of these players to proxy already. At least one of them, right? But, you know, Piglet, I guess he hasn't been corrupted by the likes of Azure or Seether yet, so...
Yeah, he has proxied...
He's a pure standard Terran player.
He has proxied before. If you remember, he actually proxied against Probe. It was Proxy Marauder on 2000 Atmospheres. But it is a very map
Didn't
specific.
quite go into the main with that, but you know.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a very map specific build that he did whip out there, and he's not going to do it here against ZAiN. Unfortunately, you're going to be seeing a more standard opener from both players.
I wonder if ZAiN's going to go for Phoenixes again. Whoa! Okay. ZAiN has already won the mind game. He's already won the moral victory. Forcing Piglet to make that CC on the high ground?
Yeah. He was having none of that probe. He's like, oh my god, you're being so annoying. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm just going to throw down my CC in my main. I'm done.
I want to point out, I think ZAiN does have the ping disadvantage.
True, we are on Australia. We do. Oh wait, are we? Hold. You know what? We can find out.
Singapore, but
okay,
you know,
we are still in Singapore. Yeah, it is one of those things where, unfortunately, more often than not, ZAiN and Raza actually have better ping to Singapore than the Australian players.
Yeah, some of the Australian players, not Pig apparently.
Yeah, not to be confused with
But
Piglet.
again, Pig ain't playing.
True.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, they may have the same ISP, but then again, they do. They might not.
Oh,
Piglet is proxying.
What?
Double factory, I mean?
Oh my god. I did a double take when I clicked on this building and it was not a starport. I was like, oh my god, this guy's insane. It's crazy.
And even back home, he's making a Cyclone. I'm so curious as what this is going to be, but at the same time, I kind of feel like this Dark Shrine ZAiN is getting can just shut down whatever it is. Like, what can it be? Proxy tank? Proxy... I mean, I have to imagine it can only be proxy tank, right?
I mean, we'll see if a tech lab gets thrown down. There we go. It looks like it will be a tech lab. I was feeling some... Oh, there we go. We do have a tank at home. Are we going to have a tank or a cyclone across the map? Tank makes sense, right?
He can actually... and he can actually get away with double tank production if he builds literally nothing else but tanks and marines.
Oh boy, this is going to be very close. So thankfully we do have two orbitals, right? So we do have two potential for some scans here for those DTs. Unfortunately, Piglet hasn't scanned, he hasn't seen anything in the main base. He does not know anything about that Dark Shrine.
He really does not. He should be saving his scans. Oh, he's getting the E-base, so yeah. It's an opportunity for him to throw in some missile turrets back home just to really cover his bases.
Yeah, I mean, well, he saw the Twilight Council opening, and at the moment, like, from the lack of stalkers and just how this game has played out, I think maybe he could be considering the fact that there are going to be some DTs.
Yeah, and I like this. Once again, despite going proxy tank, Piglet is still being cautious in his TVP. He's still getting those missile turrets because he's like, you know what? There we go. Because he's like, you know what? The only thing that could kill me is one, poor control, and two, DTs. DT will reveal itself here, but that's before the missile turret gets finishes building.
This is devastating damage, mate.
Really is.
7 SCVs go down to a single DT. Even with the missile turret on the way, it wasn't done in time. Piglet taking a lot of damage there. Meanwhile, War Prism is looking to maybe find a way into the main base, and this proxy still hasn't really come into play. We still have more tanks on the way, which is great. He hasn't pulled the trigger yet. He's waiting for that War Prism. Oh.
Just like so. Warp Prism gets pulled back.
No.
ZAiN actually thinking ahead here. He's grabbing Blink. He's getting his Forge. Piglet now moving out with everything he's got except for one Marine in the bunker. That's a lot of tanks.
Thankfully, this War Prism hasn't stumbled across the proxy factory, as there are about to be 3 tanks coming out here. ZAiN has no idea. He has a third base. The third base is dead. I hope that Piglet doesn't waste too much time on this third, by the way. I hope he just goes for the natural. Oh no! The tank is exposed! No!
And it will get picked off. Piglet trying to think, can I deal with that? No, I don't like my chances at all. And we have this many tanks, like, you can just spread them out whenever you want. Or wherever you want.
Exactly, the tanks are fanned out. The third is under threat. A lot of tank shots going off on this ground gateway-based army. Oh my god.
Third base will go down, and that gives Piglet a little bit of an edge, but it's not going to be enough to really end this game.
Exactly, he wants a little bit more. Meanwhile, ZAiN is trying to look for some... Oh my god, he's trying to look for some reinforcements! He's gonna run into the boys!
He's gonna pass the boys!
The boys are back in town. The tanks leapfrog forward. We do have a couple of shield batteries on the way here, but they are so exposed. The boys are trying to get us around on the Immortal.
And they will actually. Battery overcharge gets popped, but it's actually being distracted by that sentry.
Ooh.
All of these tanks, 5 tanks firing their siege up volleys at the same time. That is DPS that ZAiN cannot handle. Mate, is this gonna be it?
And in the words of a great man, who the hell proxies a tank? Piglet, he does it. He breaks through the third base. He's breaking
more than one tank, mate.
He breaks into the natural base. There's no shield batteries. There's no immortals. A DT is being warped in. Hopefully, we do have a scan for that. DTs are definitely a way to come back, but there is the scan.
I feel like DTs were going to be the only hope for ZAiN here, defensive DTs, but it was
late.
not meant to be. There's still one more DT. Oh, I was going to say, I don't think Piglet has that many scans, but he had one too many. GG is called. Piglet takes that series 2-0. This man. We were talking quite a bit about his more cautious approach to TVP, and then he pulls out a proxy tank. Proxy double tank. Game number 2.
Yeah, crazy. I think he had a third tank actually by the time he pushed, but
he did, yeah. Oh no, he had 3 tanks at home and 2 tanks across the map, so he had 5 tanks.
Yeah.
By the time he went in.
And he just had the constant rally from that factory as well, because it was right next to where the engagement was happening. So just the tank count just got higher and higher. GG, well played. What a crazy build there from Piglet. And he moves on to a qualifying match.
That he does. He's really going through the ringer here, like, because he faces Peppy and Ender in the first 2 rounds, 2 very intimidating Zerg players. Then he goes up against ZAiN, who has a really good PvT just in general. Now his TVT is going to be put to the test against Raza in this qualifying round.
That it will. As you said, he takes down one brother and he will move on to face the other. Raza, he's there in the chat, was watching that series, and now he has a chance to avenge his brother.
He will, but at the same time, he's really going to give ZAiN a hard time, and he yeah, be like, "Man, how could you lose to Piglet, mate? Protoss."
I just like, mate, Protoss, mate. TVP unwinnable. Haven't you heard? It's not. Oh god. Wow, just wow.
Well, indeed, man.
Yeah, Piglet really popping off this qualifier.
Yeah. I was actually talking to Kerwin a little bit before we were starting things off, and, you know, obviously Oreo, to me, is going to be that new generation of Australian players, but Piglet, because of his style, which kind of forces him to execute perfectly each time, does mean that he's a little bit inconsistent when it comes to results, but when he's on point, he dominates, and he's been dominating throughout these qualifiers so far.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Piglet is one of those players who isn't consistently practicing over the course of the year.
Yeah.
He has periods where he's on and periods where he is off, right? But right now he is on, mate. You know, because of ANZ Chance, he's had a reason to practice and prepare, and that leads straight into the DreamHack qualifiers, and he's had so much momentum in the first 2 weeks of ANZ Champs. Again, taking down the best players in the entire region. He's topping his group in ANZ Champs, and now for him to keep on going here in the DreamHack qualifiers, potentially to qualify, potentially to have the run of his life in DreamHack itself, like it's crazy.
It really is. I'm just imagining him making it to the main event, making it to the playoffs, and having Pig have to cast him.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
That'd be a lot of fun. It would.